is a masculine word. Actually, this is a diccionario, is a masculine word. All right? Now, feminine words usually, not always, but usually end in A. Okay? Puerta means door. It's a feminine word. Ventana means window. It's a feminine word. Okay? Mesa means table. Feminine word. Okay? Silla, chair. Feminine word. All right? So you look at the endings. Okay? Now, O and A are the most common endings and the easiest way to determine the gender of a word. Okay? But there's a couple other endings as well. And they involve more than one letter. If a word ends in ION, TAD, or DAD, those are always, always, always feminine. Like, there's no exceptions to those. Okay? And we'll encounter words that end in either ION, TAD, DAD. All right? And I will point them out. But those are always, always, always feminine. Okay? It's not A, but if a word ends in MA, it is masculine. All right? So, for example, what do you think the word problema means? Problem. It ends in MA, not just A, but MA. It is a masculine word. One that has to do with school, because each of you are in a different programa. What do you think programa? Program. Okay? So programa, all right? That is a masculine word. Okay? Now, the secret to figuring this out, if you can take the A off and it's still English, it's masculine. What does pluma mean again? Pen. If you take the A off, you end up with plum. And while I realize a plum is a fruit, that's not what it means. All right? So guess what? This one's feminine, la pluma. But if you take problema and drop the A, you're left with problem, masculine. You take programa and drop the A, that's program. That's masculine. It's just a little trick, okay? Now, sometimes you do have to play with the spelling a little. What do you think sistema? System. And you might be like, yeah, but Santos, it's, no, I's and Y's are kind of interchangeable. That's why it's A-E-I-O-U, sometimes Y. Okay, because the Y sometimes replaces the I, especially in English, but in Spanish too. All right, so that one is also masculine. Okay, if you want to know the real secret, those are all Greek words that Spanish took, and English. Okay, but anyways, all right. The other one, not just A, but TA. Okay. What do you think planeta means? Planet. It's a masculine word because if you drop the A, planet. Planeta. Okay? How about cometa? It's a comet. All right? And so because it's still English, it's a masculine word. It's el cometa. Okay? this one's kind of weird because, what do you think, poeta? Poet, okay? But of course, if it's a boy poet, it would be a masculine word. If it's a girl poet, it would be a feminine word. So you gotta like watch out for that one, okay? Because it can be both, all right? So obviously there's like one or two like teeny exceptions, okay, that make it change a little bit, all right? Now, what if it's a word like noche or lapis? It doesn't end in O, it doesn't end in A, it doesn't end in any of the other endings that you've shown us, Mr. Santos, okay? Well, number one, these you kind of just have to remember, but you always look at the beginning, what we call, here's where I bring this back down. We call it the article, all right? Ooh, too big. So, for example, el means the, but it is the masculine form of the, okay? So if it is a masculine word, it will have el in front of it, okay? La also means the, okay? But it is the feminine form of the. So if it is a feminine word, it will be la. And the word for woman is kind of a perfect example because it doesn't end in A, it doesn't end in ION, doesn't end in TAD or DAD, doesn't end in anything like that, but it says la mujer. So by virtue of seeing the la in front of it, we know that it is a feminine word, okay? Because that article will never lie to you. And so it's one of the things that as students, when you're learning Spanish vocabulary, you should also memorize the el and the la in front of it. Especially if it's a word like lapis. Trust me, there is no rule for words that end in the letter Z, okay? Those of you that have taken Spanish before, do you know if lapis is el lapis or la lapis? Yeah, it's el lapis. Pencils are masculine, okay? El lapis. There's no rule for words that end in the letter E, like noche. Is it el noche or la noche?
La noche.
La noche. The word for night is feminine, okay? La noche, all right? So when you are, like I said, when you're learning vocabulary, pay attention to the word in front. That is known as the article, okay? And in English and Spanish, we have what are known as definite articles and indefinite articles. Definite article is the word the, okay? Indefinite is the word a or an. And so I always ask students, what is the difference between the book and a book? The meaning. If someone says the book versus a book. Yes, muy bien. Excelente. The book is a specific book. A book can be any book that's ever been written in the history of books. Okay? When do we use an? Because sometimes we use an instead of a in English. Yeah, if the word that follows starts with a vowel. So the only one I can think of is an umbrella. You never say a umbrella, it's an umbrella. I know there's other words. Right now I'm an idiot because I can't think of any other words. All right, but yeah, okay. Now, so un is the masculine a, and una is the feminine A. Okay? Now, this acknowledges, of course, that just a few days ago, Mr. Santos, didn't you teach us that un and una is the masculine and feminine of the number 1? Yes, I did. Okay? So in this case, it's the context where you will decide, am I saying a man or one man? Okay? A woman or one woman? Okay? Preguntas. The last thing I want to look at today, and it's only because I actually forgot when we were doing